I entered that courtroom. My own daughter looked at me with a smile full of disrespect. My son-in-law quietly shook his head as if I had already lost. They believed I was just an old man with nothing left to fight for. Then something happened that nobody expected. The judge froze. His face turned white. His hands trembled. He leaned toward the clerk and whispered words that changed the entire courtroom forever. My God, is that really him? In that single moment, every laugh disappeared. Every person stood in silence, because nobody in that courtroom knew who I really was. Until that day. This is the unforgettable story of betrayal, family, justice, and a secret that remained hidden for over 30 years. For 30 years, I lived a quiet life. I never cared about expensive cars, luxury homes, or recognition. I believed respect came from character, not wealth. After retiring from a distinguished federal investigative career, I moved to a small town where almost nobody knew my past. Only one person mattered to me, my daughter, Emily. After losing my wife to cancer, I devoted every moment to raising her. I worked late nights, skipped vacations, and sacrificed countless dreams just so she could have opportunities I never had. When Emily graduated from college, I cried harder than she did. I believed every sacrifice had been worth it. A year later, she introduced me to Daniel. He was charming, confident, and successful, or so everyone believed. Something about him never felt right. Years of investigative work had sharpened my instincts. His smile lasted a second too long. His stories changed depending on who was listening. Small lies often hide much bigger ones. I quietly warned Emily. She became angry. She accused me of trying to control her life. For the first time in years, we stopped speaking regularly. Months later, they married. I attended the wedding, not because I approved, because I loved my daughter. After the ceremony, Daniel barely thanked me. Instead, he treated me like an unwanted guest. Emily noticed but ignored it. Over the next 2 years, things became worse. Emily stopped visiting. Phone calls became shorter. Eventually, they stopped altogether. Then one rainy morning, I received legal papers. Daniel and Emily were suing me. They claimed I had promised them ownership of my home and savings. The documents were filled with lies. Friends encouraged me to settle quietly, but truth has never feared a courtroom, so I prepared for trial. The morning of the hearing, I wore the same navy suit I had worn during my retirement ceremony years ago. Simple, old, neatly pressed. As I entered the courthouse, people barely looked at me. Emily laughed softly while whispering something to Daniel. He smiled with confidence. Their expensive lawyer carried stacks of documents, acting as though victory had already been guaranteed. When I entered the courtroom, Emily looked directly at me. "I hope you're ready to lose." I simply nodded. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The proceedings began. Daniel's attorney confidently described me as a bitter old man trying to destroy his daughter's happiness. He claimed I was mentally unstable, greedy, vindictive. Every accusation echoed through the silent courtroom. Emily never objected. She simply watched. Then the judge looked toward me. "Sir, do you have representation?" "I'll represent myself." Soft laughter spread through the courtroom. The attorney smiled. The judge seemed uncertain. Then I placed a small leather folder on the table. Inside were official credentials I hadn't shown anyone in years. The judge glanced at them, then looked again. His expression completely changed. His hands stopped moving. He slowly stood. Leaning toward the clerk, he whispered, "My God, is that really him?" The courtroom became silent. Nobody understood. The judge looked directly at me. "Mr. Harrison, you served on the National Anti-Corruption Task Force." "Yes, Your Honor." "And you personally led investigations resulting in convictions of over 300 financial criminals." "Yes." The attorney's smile disappeared. Daniel looked confused. Emily's confidence slowly faded. The judge cleared his throat. "I've read about your work during law school." The room remained frozen. Then I quietly requested permission to submit evidence. The judge agreed. One by one, I presented financial records, property documents, recorded conversations, bank transfers, email chains. Every piece had been legally collected. Every document fit perfectly into a timeline. Daniel's attorney objected repeatedly. Every objection failed. The courtroom projector displayed hidden transfers from Emily's account, then payments made by Daniel, then forged signatures. Finally, a secret offshore account. The courtroom gasped. Daniel's face turned pale. Emily stared at him in disbelief. She whispered, "What is this?" Daniel couldn't answer. The judge asked one simple question. "Mr. Daniel, did you disclose this account during discovery?" Silence. The judge asked again. Still nothing. Moments later, investigators entered the courtroom carrying Additional evidence requested earlier that morning. Daniel's lawyer stepped back. He knew the case had collapsed. Emily suddenly realized something horrifying. Every warning I had ever given her had been true. She looked toward me with tears. I didn't know. I believed she meant it. But truth arrives after choices have already been made. The judge dismissed every false claim against me, then referred Daniel's evidence to prosecutors for criminal investigation. Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered. Cameras flashed. People who had ignored me hours earlier suddenly wanted interviews. I declined every request. Fame had never interested me. Justice had. Emily approached me slowly. I'm sorry. She couldn't stop crying. For a long time, neither of us spoke. Finally, I hugged her. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's refusing to let pain define the future. Months later, Daniel accepted responsibility for fraud and forgery. Emily rebuilt her life. She returned to university and started helping victims of financial scams. Every Sunday she visited my house. We shared coffee, talked about mom, laughed again. Years later, my granddaughter asked why everyone respected Grandpa so much. I smiled. Because true strength isn't about making people fear you. It's about protecting people even when they never know your name. The greatest victory wasn't winning inside the courtroom. It was getting my daughter back. Sometimes justice restores more than reputation. Sometimes it restores family. If this story teaches us anything, it's this. Never underestimate a quiet person. Not everyone who stays silent is weak. Some people carry decades of wisdom, sacrifice, and truth behind their silence. And no matter how convincing a lie becomes, truth only needs one moment to change everything.